Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the lecture on evolution of policy sciences. In the previous class, we discussed about the evolution of public policy. Today, we are going to discuss about the evolution of policy science and what is policy science. So, policy science. What is policy science? Policy science simply means um, a systematic and scientific study of public policy. So, to study public policy, there are lots of approaches. There are a number of approaches to study public policy, but policy science is regarded as a systematic and scientific study on public policy. That is the importance of policy sciences. So, uh, in recent time, policy sciences are given much significance by the intellectuals, academics. But in the history, we can find that uh, there are strong and chronic pressures that push many practitioners. Practitioners means the exponents of policy studies or public policy thinkers, uh, and they were kept away from the public policy studies, and they were uh, uh, given only a chance to the specialized study, only to focus their own subject only, and there is not a chance to a multidisciplinary perspective to the public policy. So we can say that only in the recent time, public policy program seems to demonstrate that the science of public policy has found a secure place in the uh, intellectual sphere. So, what is policy sciences? It is a systematic and scientific study of public policy. So, there are a number of approaches to study public policy. But what is the specialty of public policy sciences is that it is a systematic and scientific study of public policy. So, the policy science is a contemporary adaptation of the general approach to public policy. Historically speaking, policy science is very old when seen in terms of general approach to public policy. Uh, I make it clear that historically, what is the importance of policy science? So, take the case of Aristotle. He is well known for his comparative analysis of various city states. He studied around 150 city states and various governing systems during that time. So we can say that that was a uh, comparative study or a scientific analysis uh, of various governing system. That's why we call him as political scientist. Aristotle is regarded as a political scientist. So here, as a tool or an approach, scientific approach is already used in the uh, various times in the history. So we can say that policy science is always there, but as a separate discipline, policy science or public policy were not given as a separate status. That is the point we discussed in the previous class. So uh, while considering in the general approaches to public policy, we can say that policy science is a historical origin approach, but as a uh, theoretical base of study, policy science have a 20th century theoretical orientation. Just its historical progression has depended on the complex interaction of social scientists and social political events. In this century, the earliest precursor to the policy science movement was an early but robust form of multidisciplinary behavioralism that arose in reaction against the social sciences and legal studies of 1920s and 1930s. So, the period from 1920s to 1960s was a significant period for the development of social sciences, particularly political science, public administration, public policy, etc. Because in 1920s and 1930s, political scientists and they uh, advocated for the value-free approach in social science. And after a long time, they realized that values should not be uh, avoided from the making of policy or from the study of politics or from the study of social science. So we should we must incorporate values in the social science. So the first stage of development, we can say that the first stage of development is the behaviorist development, that is called otherwise called as an interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary perspective of social science. And in the later stage, it is a value laden approach that we called as post behaviorist perspective. So in this time, in the early stage of development of social science in 1920s and 1930s, during the emergence of behaviorist approach, value-free approach was there in the science studies. So uh, as part of this development, policy sciences in its early phase, uh, its historical progression is was dependent upon the complex interaction of other social science disciplines. That is the point discussed here. Okay, but there has been a growing skepticism and criticism of the credibility of policy sciences to produce objective, empirical, and normative truths. So, what is policy sciences? Policy sciences, uh, scientists say that policy science is a better tool for analyzing public policy by using scientific method. So they say that empirical and scientific study can be possible in policy studies. But several thinkers criticized, and they say that um, how policy sciences can produce objective, empirical, and normative truths, because policy is closely related to human behavior. So, so many issues may be there. But scientific rationality, which was its once its emphasized, is being replaced by a broader theory of reason to society. So again, it widened in a form of reason to society. So reasoning uh, is given a significant place more than the scientific rationality in this stage. And but now today we can say that politicians have gone far beyond new and naive aspirations for socially relevant knowledge. So then we moving to the uh, the theoretical part of the policy sciences. So, the concept of policy sciences was first formulated by Harold Laswell. He is regarded as the father of policy, public policy, and he's the man who first formulated uh, the theory of policy sciences. Means the approach is the he's an exponent of this approach, policy sciences, and uh, and he introduced this policy sciences in his paper called The Policy Orientation in 1951. This work is regarded as the first systematic efforts towards building a new field of inquiry to deal with social problems. Laswell, in his essay, The Policy Orientation, more interested in evaluating and reconstructing the practices of society rather than a higher proportion of the higher abstractions in which his values are derived. So he gave more importance to uh, practical situations of a society rather than values. And Robert Lynch, his work Knowledge for What, and John Dewey's relentless pressing of pragmatism have made salient theories and real world application to the policy sciences. So, so many thinkers added more uh, scientific situations to the uh, policy processes. The writings of Scott and Shaw, Horowitz and Tribe provide a more detailed picture of the emergence of policy sciences. Uh, a number of converging factors such as war, poverty, crime, race, relations, and pollution are seen to be responsible for producing a great interest in policy sciences in the late 1960s. Uh, Brooks add that policy science is the um, most recent and certainly the most explicit manifestation of this quest for an independent vantage point above the political fray, affording objective criteria upon which policy decisions can be made. Laswell describes policy science as the culmination of efforts to define a discipline for producing and applying socially relevant knowledge. So, this is a starting point of creating socially relevant knowledge as policies uh, by using a new kind of approach to policy studies. The policy sciences approach and its advocates deliberately distinguished themselves from early scholars, among others political science, public administration, communications, psychology, jurisprudence, and sociology, by posing three defining characteristics that, in combination, transcended the individual contributions from those more traditional areas of study. They are contextual and problem oriented, multidisciplinary, and thirdly, explicitly normative or value oriented. So, these are the main characteristics of uh, policy science, and realization of these ambitious goals became the concern of the policy science community in the second half of the 20th century. First one, contextual and problem oriented. The policy sciences were consciously framed as being problem oriented, quite explicitly addressing public policy issues and posing recommendations for their relief, while openly rejecting the study of a phenomenon for its own sake. The societal or political question, so what, has always been pivotal in the policy sciences approach. Likewise, policy problems are seen to occur in a specific context, a context that must be carefully considered in terms of the analysis, methodology, and subsequent recommendations. Thus, necessarily, the policy approach has not developed an overreaching theoretic foundation. So, policy science were consciously framed as being problem oriented. So, it is based on problem oriented. When a situation arises, a policy formulation is needed. Government become responsive towards the issue. So, it's a problem oriented or contextual process. So, uh, it occurs in a specific context that must be carefully considered in terms of analysis, methodology, and subsequent recommendations. So, when a issue happens, when a situation arises, or when a specific context, the policymakers become responsive towards analysis and make subsequent recommendations. So, uh, it is based on contextual or problem-oriented situation, and so a policy approach we cannot develop a overreaching theoretical foundation in addition to this. So it is based on contextual and problem-oriented situation. So regarding problem-oriented and contextual policy orientation, Laswell's idea was twofold. In one part, it is directed toward the policy process, and in another part, it is directed toward the intelligence needs of policy. Later in 1971, Laswell identified two separate approaches to the policy sciences. One emphasizing knowledge of the policy process, and another emphasizing knowledge for the use in the policy process. So, uh, two things are here. First one, intelligence need of policy, and another one, policy process. So, in the policy process, policy making, policy implementation, policy evaluation, uh, the, the process should be analyzed. The process, what are the major processes? So the process should be analyzed here. But the intelligence need of policy means what kind of knowledge is needed for making the policy. So the content is analyzed. So content should be analyzed. So two kinds of uh, directions are there. First, the content of the policy is analyzed, and but in the first one, the policy process is analyzed. The every process is analyzed. The vision of scientific method and democratic humanism, however, proved operationally difficult. As the policy sciences moved to realize status and gain academic recognition during 1960s and 1970s. So, to prove as a strictly scientific perspective was not an easy job for the thinkers, and they must club democratic humanism with scientific methods. So that is not an easy task. But to gain academic recognition during 1960s and 1970s, they become try to adopt some liberal perspectives in the study. And these two approaches, process and content, means policy analysis and policy process, strengthened their respective identities and each claiming some sort of conceptual superiority. So, operationally saying, the two approaches are first one policy analysis and second one policy process. So, what is policy analysis? Policy analysis is the analysis of policy, how the policy is operating. So, this is policy analysis means the analysis of policy, and whereas policy process means analysis for policy, a kind of uh, knowledge generation is taking place there. A kind of knowledge is needed, a kind of intelligence is needed for the making of policy, and so for making policy, some kind of analysis should be there. So that kind of analysis means uh, analysis for policy. So that is here um, we should not that the policy process is stand for policies analysis for policy. Okay, then we can understand what is policy analysis or analysis of policy. uh, those models emphasizing policy analysis have been dominant among economists, operations researchers, and public administrationists who assumed that policy problems and their solutions could be defined with rational accuracy and subjected to empirical analytical precision. Stokes, Secoser, in their work A Primer for Public Analysis in 1978 provided analysts with models and techniques ranging from differential equations to queuing models to linear programming and cost-benefit analysis. Their prescriptions was to choose the right technical model for doing analysis. Policy analysis was framed as the search for the best option of or choice. Edward Coate identified five elements of policy analysis as first one identification of objectives, second one specification of alternatives, third one recommending policy action, fourth one monitoring policy outcomes, and finally evaluating policy performance. These are the five elements of policy analysis, means analysis of policy. When we come to the analysis for policy, means policy process. Policy analysis was criticized because policy analysis was criticized as being unworkable and dangerous. The critic of the policy analysis focus on constraints of human and particularly institutional rationality that prevent legitimate claims to knowing all possible alternative solutions or being able to forecast specific policy effects. In place of rational and scientific ideals, democratic and pluralist norms were suggested. Scientific rationality is being replaced by a broader theory of reason in society. In comparison to Coates' model, May and Widawski describe a policy process cycle in which they include five elements. First one agenda setting, second one issue analysis, third one implementation, fourth one evaluation, and finally termination. Although these two approaches, policy analysis and policy process, have their own utilities and constraints, it would be unrealistic and harmful to isolate them. Simon outlined a theory of decision making bounded by notions of satisfying and bounded rationality. Itsuoni say that both these approaches are necessary. So many criticisms and skepticism are there, and in fact, the approaches seep into and inform one another. Public policy is almost never a single, discrete, unitary phenomenon. Indeed, the appeal of public policy studies lies precisely in its richness. Second characteristics of policy science is multidisciplinary. To Laswell, policy sciences are not to be equated with applied social science or applied social and psychological science, nor he admonished are the policy sciences to be thought of as largely identical with what is studied by the political scientist. The stress in this approach is upon the fundamental problems of man in society. However, social scientists like Lindberry argues that the roots of the policy sciences lay within economics. The policy sciences are distinctively multidisciplinary in their intellectual and practical approaches. This is because almost every social or political problem has multiple components closely linked to the various academic disciplines without falling clearly into any one discipline's exclusive domain. Therefore, to gain a complete appreciation of the phenomenon, many relevant orientations must be utilized and integrated. Imagine, for example, imagine if you can uh, policy research in urban development that did not entail a constellation of disciplinary approaches and skills. So, when we study a policy research on urban development, we cannot avoid the interference of other disciplines like international relations. So, here, international terrorism is a major factor. So, it's a multidisciplinary science. So, policy science is a multidisciplinary uh, science, an approach with a multidisciplinary character. Explicitly normative or value oriented. That is the third character of the policy sciences. The policy sciences approach is deliberately normative or value oriented. In many cases, the recurring theme of the policy sciences deals with the democratic ethos and human dignity. This value orientation was largely in reaction to behavioralism, that means objectivism in the social sciences, and in recognition that no social problem nor methodological approach is value free. As such, to understand a problem, one must acknowledge its value components. Similarly, no policy scientist is without his or her own personal values, which also must be understood, if not resolved, as Ami has discussed. This theme later achieved a central role in the policy sciences movement to positivist orientation. Without consideration of the normative aspects of the policy process, analysis would be incomplete. So, Harold Laswell says, without consideration of the normative aspects of the policy. So, values will be there in the policy making and in the policy process and in the policy content. So, without consideration of the normative aspects of the policy process, analysis would be incomplete. So, analysis also need a value-laden analysis is it should be there. Moreover, a value-free approach might be adequate for very limited systems analysis problems. So it is only possible in very limited systems analysis problems. The normative and value questions remain at the center of the contemporary policy sciences. These are the references used for the study. R.K. Sapro's text, Public Policy, is a very relevant text for the study of policy sciences, and many journal articles are there. You can search number of journals, articles, and books for the further reading of the evolution part of the policy sciences. Okay, thank you.